Welcome to my home. This is a fun story. Some of the stories I have been hard for me to tell because they're through struggles and different things. But this goes back to the 60s and 70s. I was born in the 50s. I was growing up in the 60s. And it was the hippie movement, the Jesus freaks. There were a lot of crazy things happening. And I was going to high school in the early 70s. And I think it was 72, 73. There was a guy named Sammy Tippit. He was one of those Jesus freaks. He had walked across America carrying a cross on his back. And he hiked all the way across America. Well, now I lived in the Chicago area. So when he was in the Chicago area, we all go down to see this guy. I mean, he's a nut, Who is this guy? But he got in trouble in Chicago because he hung out near all the bars and the brothels. And he started helping the drunks deal with their alcoholism. He started helping the prostitutes find that there was another way of life. And he got thrown in jail. The owners of the bars and the brothels got the police to throw Sammy Tippit in jail for causing trouble. So I grew up with these stories. This is back in 71, 72, maybe 73. Crazy, crazy Sammy Tippit. So then we're working in China. We've started Evergreen. We've got, 3-4 years of work going. We're doing police conferences. We're doing a lot of medical projects. We're doing education. We're doing different things. And I don't even know how I got contacted with Sammy Tippit again. He was living in Texas. And I got a fax. I don't think we had emails yet at that time. I think I got a fax saying, Sammy Tippit, he has a book called The Prayer Factor and wants to translate it into Chinese. Can you handle that, Finn? I said, well, absolutely. We found translators and we got a publishing house to get it translated into Chinese and got 20, 30, 40,000 copies of it printed up. It was awesome. The Prayer Factor. This is the guy I knew in the late 60s, early 70s was the crazy hippie, Jesus freak. And then he'd really come around. He basically ran a prayer ministry out of Texas. But look up The Prayer Factor, the book. We published it in China in 97. And one of the pastors in our church said, I have an idea. Can we take that book and give it as a gift to every one of the seminarians that's graduating from the Beijing seminary? And would Sammy Tippit and his wife come and visit us? And Sammy said, absolutely. So I get Sammy and his wife visiting us in Beijing, and I didn't get to the Beijing seminary that often. It's not that easy to get in. It's a very sensitive political issue, when you're dealing with seminaries in China. And we were given access to the graduating class that year, 97, of Yanjing Seminary. And Sammy Tippit explained and taught his book to that graduating class. Now, one of the fun parts of this is we had a brand new guy working with Evergreen named Andrew Kaiser. And we already knew he was a smart guy. He'd gone to Gordon Conwell, he'd gone to other really good schools. He had memorized 5,000 characters in Chinese before he graduated from undergraduate school. At least that's what I seem to remember. And I was supposed to translate for Sammy Tippit. And my Chinese is street Chinese. It's not high quality, nice Chinese. And here we are with all these seminarians. And I got Andrew to do the translation. That was his first job in China, was to translate for this hippie from the 60s in China, teaching Beijing seminary graduates the factors of prayer. It was wonderful. Is that a crazy story? Does God do wild things? expect the most from him and don't be surprised at anything. Our God is great. Thank you for joining me today.